Oh, let me tell you something. There is a divine rhythm to your life. There is a timing, a sequence, a flow that is uniquely designed for your destiny, but you have to learn how to master your career clock. You have to know when it's time to move, when it's time to wait, when it's time to learn, and when it's time to lead. You can't afford to be out of sync with what God is doing in your life. You can't afford to keep looking at somebody else's clock and trying to match their timing. Your career clock is not broken. It's just waiting for you to recognize that you are right on schedule. Too many of us spend our lives rushing ahead or lagging behind, comparing our journey to someone else's, as if God made a mistake with our timeline. But He didn't. He knew exactly when you needed to be born, exactly when you would experience your setbacks, exactly when you would rise again. But if you keep running ahead of Him, trying to force doors open that aren't meant for you yet, you will exhaust yourself chasing what is not ready for you. And if you sit in fear, refusing to step into the moment He has prepared for you, you will find yourself watching opportunities pass you by. This is your season to master your career clock. No more questioning if you're too late or too early. No more asking for permission to step into your calling. No more waiting for someone to validate what God has already placed inside of you. You have to take ownership of your time and decide that you will no longer live on someone else's schedule. You see, when a clock is set, it doesn't keep changing its pace based on what other clocks are doing. It stays consistent. It moves forward second by second, minute by minute, unwavering in its assignment. And that's exactly how you have to be in your career. You have to be steady, you have to be intentional, you have to recognize that the preparation season is just as important as the promotion season. Don't despise the moments when it feels like nothing is happening. Oh, those moments are where your foundation is being built. Those moments are where your character is being refined, your skills are being sharpened, your patience is being developed. Those moments are what separate those who are truly ready from those who are just chasing a title. Because let me tell you, a title without preparation is a burden. A position without wisdom is a trap. And if you get somewhere too soon, you will find yourself crumbling under the weight of what you thought you wanted. So what do you do while you wait? You prepare. You study. You train. You build. You serve. You stop seeing where you are as a delay and start seeing it as a divine setup. Because when your moment comes, and oh, it will come, you won't have to force it. If you won't have to manipulate it, you won't have to beg for it. The doors will open because you are ready. The opportunities will find you because you have positioned yourself well. Stop worrying about who got promoted before you. Stop stressing over who got the opportunity you thought was yours. If it was meant for you, it would be yours. If it was for your clock, it would align with your time. But you have something greater ahead. You have an assignment that is too big to rush and too valuable to delay. And let's talk about fear, because I know it's real. I know what it feels like to question whether you're good enough, to wonder if you really have what it takes, to be afraid that if you step out, you might fail. But let me tell you something, fear is just a distraction. It's a liar. It wants to convince you that you don't belong, that you're not ready, that you need more validation before you move. But the enemy wouldn't be fighting you this hard if you weren't carrying something powerful inside of you. The fear wouldn't be this intense if your purpose wasn't so great. You don't have to be perfect to step into your calling, you just have to be obedient. You don't have to know every detail of the journey, you just have to trust that God has already mapped it out. The people you need to meet, He already aligned them. The skills you need to develop, He already placed them inside of you. The favor you need to walk through doors, He has already gone ahead of you. Your only job is to keep moving, to keep growing, to keep showing up for yourself every single day. And let me say this, do not shrink yourself to fit into spaces that can't handle your light. You were not designed to be small. You were not created to blend in. If the environment you are in cannot accommodate your growth, then maybe it's time to shift. Maybe it's time to stop trying to force yourself into places that can no longer hold who you are becoming. Maybe it's time to stop waiting for someone to recognize your value and start walking like you already know you are valuable. There is a time to build and a time to launch. A time to learn and a time to lead. A time to be silent and a time to speak. If you discern the season you are in, you won't waste energy on things that don't align with where you're headed. You won't be frustrated by the waiting, because you'll understand that every delay has a purpose. You won't be anxious about the future, because you'll know that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. So, I need you to make a decision today. Are you going to keep watching the clock, complaining that things aren't happening fast enough? Or are you going to start working like you know your moment is on the way? Are you going to keep doubting yourself, waiting for permission to step into your calling? Or are you going to take ownership of your time and start moving with confidence? The choice is yours. But let me remind you, your career clock is not. There is something powerful about understanding that your journey is uniquely designed. One of the greatest distractions in life and career is comparison. It's easy to look at someone else's path and feel like you are behind, as if you've somehow missed the moment when everything was supposed to come together for you. But the truth is, your career clock is not broken. It is not delayed. It is not moving too slowly. It is set according to a divine timing that aligns perfectly with your destiny. The problem is that we have been conditioned to believe that success has a universal timeline. We are told that by a certain age we should have reached a particular milestone, that by a certain stage in life we should have checked off a list of accomplishments that society deems acceptable. But who set that standard? Who decided that if you don't achieve something by a particular time, then you are behind? The reality is that you are not late, and you are not early. You are right on time for what is meant for you. When you measure your progress against someone else's journey, you rob yourself of the peace that comes from trusting your own process. You start making moves based on pressure instead of purpose. You force doors open that were never meant for you, and when those doors don't lead to fulfillment, you wonder what went wrong. Nothing went wrong. You just weren't supposed to be there. You were chasing a timeline that wasn't yours to begin with. One of the most dangerous things you can do is rush a process that is designed to shape you. Every moment in your journey has value, even the ones that feel slow, even the ones that seem stagnant. Sometimes, the very things you are trying to rush past are the things that are preparing you for what's ahead. There is something you need to learn in this season that will be essential for your next. There is wisdom, experience, and resilience being built in you right now that you will need when you step into your greater assignment. Think about nature. A seed doesn't question why another tree is growing faster. It doesn't rush the process just because it sees another plant blooming ahead of it. It stays in the soil, takes in the nutrients, strengthens its roots, and grows at its own pace. And when the time is right, it emerges strong, capable of withstanding the seasons ahead. Your career is the same way. You are not late. You are not missing out. You are growing in the timing that is perfect for what you are called to do. The truth is, not everyone is meant to rise at the same time. If everyone achieved success simultaneously, who would be there to help guide the next wave? Who would be the mentors, the leaders, the ones who stand as proof that perseverance pays off? Some people reach their peak early, while others take time to cultivate something greater. Neither is better, it's just different. But if you allow impatience to push you ahead of schedule, you might find yourself in rooms you are not yet equipped to handle. If you allow frustration to convince you that you're too late, you might give up just before your breakthrough. You have to trust that your journey is unfolding exactly as it should. Every lesson, every delay, every challenge is working together to prepare you for what is coming. Stay focused, stay faithful, and stop checking someone else's clock. Your time is coming. One of the biggest obstacles to mastering your career is the habit of comparison. It's natural to look around and measure your progress against others, especially in a world where success is constantly put on display. Social media, professional networks, and even casual conversations can make you feel like you're moving too slowly or that you've somehow missed your moment. But what if I told you that your career clock is set to its own divine timing? That you are not behind, not off track, and certainly not forgotten? What if you believed that everything happening, or not happening, in your life right now is unfolding exactly as it should? The pressure to succeed by a certain time can be overwhelming. Society has created an invisible rule book that tells us when we should have things figured out. By our 20s, we should have a degree or a solid career path. By our 30s, we should have stability and success. By our 40s, we should have reached the peak of our potential. But who wrote these rules? Who decided that there is only one timeline for success? When you let go of those expectations, you realize that success has no expiration date. Some people achieve greatness in their early years, while others bloom later in life. The timing of your journey does not determine its impact. It's easy to feel left behind when you see others progressing in ways you wish you could. You watch their promotions, their achievements, their moments of recognition, and wonder why it hasn't happened for you yet. But here's what you need to understand. Their path is not your path. What's for them is for them. What's for you is for you. Just because you haven't arrived at a certain milestone yet does not mean you aren't moving forward. Every experience, every lesson, every step, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to where you're meant to be. The danger of comparison is that it makes you question what is already working for you. Instead of appreciating your progress, you start doubting it. Instead of focusing on your growth, you start chasing someone else's pace. But a tree doesn't rush to grow just because another tree is blooming faster. It takes root, it strengthens its foundation, and it grows at the pace it was meant to grow. If it tries to speed up its process, it may not develop the strength to withstand storms. The same is true for your career. Rushing ahead of your season can cause you to enter spaces you aren't yet prepared to handle. And stepping into something too soon can be just as dangerous as never stepping into it at all. Delays are not denials. Sometimes what feels like a delay is actually a divine setup. You may think nothing is happening, but beneath the surface things are aligning in ways you can't see. The right doors, the right opportunities, and the right connections are being prepared for you. If you move too soon, you might miss them. If you give up too early, you might never see them. Timing is everything, and when the moment is right, you won't have to force it, it will happen naturally. The key is to trust your journey. Learn what you need to learn in this season. Build the skills, develop the mindset, and grow into the person who can handle the success you desire. Because when your time comes, and it will come, you won't just be stepping into a position. You'll be stepping into a purpose that was perfectly designed for you. Fear has a way of whispering lies into your mind, convincing you that you are not enough, that you are not ready, and that if you step forward, failure is inevitable. It paralyzes potential and keeps you stuck in a cycle of hesitation, waiting for a moment of absolute certainty that may never come. The truth is, fear is nothing more than a distraction. It is not a reflection of reality, it is a distortion of it. Fear magnifies doubt, exaggerates risk, and tries to convince you that the worst-case scenario is the only possible outcome. But if fear is a liar, why do so many people allow it to dictate their decisions? Because fear feels real. It disguises itself as logic, caution, and preparation when, in reality, it is often just an excuse to stay in a place of comfort. Comfort zones may feel safe, but they are also prisons. They keep you from discovering the depth of your ability and the greatness within you. They convince you that staying where you are is better than risking failure. But the greatest tragedy is not failure. It is never trying. It is looking back and realizing that you let opportunities slip away because fear told you that you weren't ready. Fear will tell you to wait, to gather more experience, to seek more validation, to wait for the perfect moment. But there is no perfect moment. The moment is now. Fear often disguises itself as wisdom, but true wisdom knows the difference between preparation and procrastination. Yes, preparation is important. Yes, you should sharpen your skills, seek knowledge, and position yourself well. But preparation should never become a mask for fear. Some people spend so much time getting ready that they never actually move. They wait for the day when they feel fully confident, fully capable, and completely certain. But that day may never come. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you develop through action. You do not become courageous by sitting still. You become courageous by moving forward, even when fear tells you to stop. Think about the people you admire, the leaders, the innovators, the change makers. Do you think they never felt fear? Of course they did. The difference is that they moved anyway. They felt the fear but did not let it control them. They understood that growth only happens on the other side of fear. They realized that every great achievement requires stepping into the unknown and trusting that they would figure things out along the way. Fear wants you to believe that failure is the end, but failure is simply feedback. It is a lesson, a teacher, a guide. Every successful person has faced setbacks, rejections, and mistakes, but they did not allow those moments to define them. They used them to refine their skills, to adjust their approach, and to come back stronger. Fear says, "What if I fail?" But faith says, "What if I succeed?" The difference between those who achieve their goals and those who do not is not the absence of fear, it is the ability to push past it. You have to stop waiting for fear to disappear before you take action. Fear does not leave on its own, it only loses its power when you refuse to listen to it. You have to step forward while your hands are shaking, while your heart is racing, while your mind is filled with doubts. Because the more you push through fear, the weaker it becomes. The more you take action, the more confidence you build, and one day you will look back and realize that the thing you were so afraid of was never as big as it seemed. Fear is a distraction, but your purpose is greater. Step forward and let nothing hold you back. There is a difference between movement and progress. Many people spend their lives moving, running from one opportunity to the next, chasing after success and trying to force things to happen. But real progress comes from moving with intention, not anxiety. It comes from knowing that every step you take is aligned with your purpose, rather than being driven by fear of missing out or falling behind. When you understand the power of divine timing, you stop making decisions out of desperation and start making them from a place of wisdom. Anxiety will tell you that you need to rush, that you need to catch up, that if you don't act quickly, you will miss your moment. But anxiety is not a good decision maker. It will have you saying yes to things that don't align with your purpose just because you're afraid another opportunity won't come. It will have you pursuing positions, promotions, and platforms that were never meant for you, simply because you feel the pressure to prove yourself. But anything you force outside of your season will only become a burden. Just because an opportunity is available does not mean it is right for you. Just because someone else is moving in a certain direction does not mean that is where you are supposed to go. Moving with intention means understanding the difference between an opportunity and a distraction. Not every open door is meant to be walked through. Some doors lead to detours, some doors lead to delays, some doors will drain you more than they will bless you. But when you trust the timing of your life, you don't feel pressured to rush through every door that opens. You take a step back, you pray, you discern, and you move only when you know that the opportunity is aligned with where you are supposed to go. You have to recognize the season you are in, so that you don't waste energy on things that don't serve your growth. Some seasons are for building, and others are for launching. Some seasons are for learning and others are for leading. If you don't understand where you are, you will either move too soon and find yourself unprepared, or you will hesitate too long and miss what was meant for you. There is a time for everything, and when you learn to move in rhythm with your purpose, you won't feel the need to rush or to hold back. You will know when it's time to push forward and when it's time to wait. The most dangerous thing you can do is make long-term decisions based on temporary emotions. Anxiety is temporary, doubt is temporary, frustration is temporary, but the decisions you make in those moments can have lasting consequences. That is why moving with intention is so important. When you are intentional, you don't let emotions dictate your choices. You let wisdom lead you. You take your time, you seek clarity, and you trust that what is meant for you will not pass you by. The truth is, anxiety does not speed up your success, it only steals your peace. It makes you feel like you have to control everything, like you have to figure it all out on your own. But that is not your job. Your job is to prepare, to be diligent, to be excellent in what you do, and to trust that the right opportunities will come at the right time. When you operate from a place of faith rather than fear, you will find that things fall into place naturally. You won't have to force them. You won't have to chase them. You will attract them because you are aligned with the purpose and timing that was always meant for you. Too many people are shrinking themselves to fit into spaces that were never designed to hold them. They lower their voices, downplay their talents, and hesitate to take up space because they fear rejection or judgment. But when you were created, you were not designed to be invisible. You were not meant to be overlooked, dismissed, or ignored. You were made with gifts, abilities, and a purpose that is unique to you, and the moment you start owning your value, everything changes. One of the biggest lies you can believe is that you are not good enough, that you need more validation, more permission, or more experience before you step into what is already yours. But confidence doesn't come from waiting for approval. It comes from walking boldly in what you already know you are capable of. You have skills that are needed. You have insight that can change lives. You have a perspective that is valuable. But none of that matters if you keep silencing yourself, waiting for someone else to recognize what you should already believe about yourself. When you don't own your value, you accept less than you deserve. You settle for positions that don't challenge you, for salaries that don't reflect your worth, and for opportunities that don't align with your calling. You allow imposter syndrome to convince you that you are lucky just to be in the room, when, in reality, the room benefits from having you in it. You don't need to apologize for your success. You don't need to justify why you belong in the spaces you have worked hard to enter. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You are qualified, and it's time you start acting like it. Stop waiting for a title to give you permission to walk in your authority. Titles don't create leaders, character does. There are people with high positions but no real influence because they never learned how to own their value. And there are people without fancy titles who are changing the game because they show up with confidence, clarity, and purpose. Your power is not in what you are called, it's in what you carry. It's in your knowledge, your passion, your ability to transform the environments you step into. When you embrace that, you stop seeking approval and start commanding respect. Owning your value means setting boundaries and not being afraid to say no to what does not serve you. It means no longer accepting jobs, relationships, or opportunities that diminish your worth. It means no longer over-explaining yourself or seeking permission to be great. It means stepping boldly into spaces and recognizing that you deserve to be there, not because someone else said so, but because you know it within yourself. The moment you stop shrinking, doors will start opening. When you show up fully as yourself, opportunities align, connections form, and things begin to shift in your favor. You don't have to pretend to be someone else to be successful. You don't have to hide your gifts or dim your light so others feel comfortable. You were designed to stand out, to lead, to make an impact, and when you embrace that, the world will have no choice but to take notice. This is your time to walk in confidence. To apply for the job, ask for the raise, step into leadership, or launch the vision that has been in your heart for years. You already have everything you need. It's just waiting for you to recognize it. So stop playing small. Stop underestimating yourself. Stop acting like you are unworthy of the success you dream of. You don't need permission to be great. You already are. Now walk in it. It's easy to get caught up in what you don't have, what you haven't accomplished, and how far you think you still have to go. But if you constantly focus on what's missing, you will overlook the power of what is already in your hands. You don't need to wait for the perfect opportunity, the perfect timing, or the perfect resources to begin walking in your purpose. What you have right now is enough to take the next step. What you carry inside of you, your skills, your experiences, your ideas, is enough to create the future you desire. The problem isn't a lack of ability, it's a lack of belief. Too often, people think that their breakthrough will come when something external shifts, a better job, a higher position, a different environment. But real transformation happens when your mindset shifts, when you stop looking for outside validation and start recognizing your own power. You will realize that nothing has been stopping you except the limits you've placed on yourself. You don't need a bigger platform to start making an impact. You don't need more connections to start building your vision. You don't need someone else's permission to walk in what you've been called to do. The moment you start seeing yourself as capable, the way you move will change, the way you speak will change, the way you show up will change. Some people spend their entire lives waiting for a moment that has already arrived. They wait for clarity, not realizing that clarity comes through action. They wait for confidence, not realizing that confidence is built through showing up, even when they don't feel ready. The longer you wait, the more you convince yourself that you are not prepared. But preparation is not about having every detail figured out. It's about trusting that what you know today is enough to get started. The truth is, you already have everything you need to begin. The vision has been placed inside of you for a reason. The skills you've developed, the lessons you've learned, and the experiences you've gained have all been shaping you for this moment. There is no magic formula. There is no secret key. The only thing standing between you and the life you desire is your willingness to move forward with what you have. Comparison will make you believe that you need more before you can take action. You will look at others who seem further ahead and assume they had advantages that you don't. But what if the only difference between them and you is that they decided to start? What if they felt the same fears, the same doubts, the same uncertainty, but moved forward anyway? The people you admire didn't wait until they had it all together. They used what they had, took what they knew, and trusted that the rest would come as they progressed. You don't have to figure out the entire journey today. You just have to take the next step, and then another, and another. Because each step forward brings new opportunities, new insights, and new doors that you never could have planned for. The path to success is not about having everything in place before you begin. It's about beginning with what you have and allowing the process to shape you. So stop doubting what you carry. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop believing that you need more before you can start. You already have enough. You already are enough. Everything you need to succeed is already within you. The only thing missing is your decision to believe it. The journey to mastering your career clock is not about rushing to meet society's expectations, nor is it about being paralyzed by fear or waiting for perfect conditions. It's about recognizing that your path is unique, that your timing is intentional, and that every experience, whether it feels like progress or delay, is shaping you for something greater. The comparison will only rob you of joy. Fear will try to hold you back, and anxiety will convince you to force things before their time. But when you trust the process, move with intention, and boldly own your value, doors will open that no one can shut. Everything you need to step into your purpose is already within you. You are not behind. You are not unqualified. You are exactly where you need to be for this season of your journey. The moment you stop doubting yourself, the moment you stop waiting for permission, and the moment you start embracing the power of your own gifts, you will walk into opportunities that were always meant for you. Your career clock is not broken. It is not delayed. It is right on time.